How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be changing the window in my 300ZX C32. Obviously, by like the name of the title, you probably already guessed that. But um, it's pretty exciting just because it's been 2 months since the car got broken into, and it's been something I've been wanting to just get done already, so that the car is sealed up and moisture and whatnot can't get into it. But got the new window right here. So this is the new window I'm going to be installing. New window. Not broken, so that's the plus about this. It is a used window off a parts car. I got it off eBay, but it seems to be in decent condition. I'm gonna clean it up, get all this old adhesive off and whatnot, because it does have some pretty old adhesive still on it from when they cut it out of the car, but it looks like it's gonna be pretty straightforward to remove at least, so that's good. If not, I got a heat gun and a scraper I can use very delicately on this. But before I even mess with getting this cleaned up, I'm actually gonna work on getting the old frame of the window out of the old car. Alright, so as you know, this is the current look of it at the moment. Unfortunately, if you're unaware, someone broke into my car like pretty much a month after I got it, and messed up the ignition trying to steal it, hence the steering wheel lock there. But they also broke like the center entertainment bezel, and it's just shitty. People like that, just messed up while they can't keep their hands to themselves. They also broke my A-pillar right here, and I'll be replacing that, but it's just stuff like that. The seat was already ripped, and I'm getting new seats for the car, but beyond that, it only has 56,000 miles on it, and for them to do this is just really disrespectful. I mean, honestly, I'm glad the car is still in my possession. It is a manual, and yes, I know that shifter knob is hideous, and it will be going. I'm getting a OE shift knob for it, or maybe the Concept Z one, because that looks pretty nice too, and a different shift boot. I'll also be swapping out the tweed eventually, but all in all, it's actually not too bad. I wouldn't mind driving the car in the condition, minus the shift knob. That's going to be getting changed. But back to the window. So this is the current status of the window and its condition. I will be using a heat gun all the way around. I'm going to lift the hatch up and then start heating it up and trying to scrape it off as delicately as possible, not to actually damage anything else, so they didn't just take the broken window out. I have 2 of these clips. Apparently there's 3. So 1, 2, and 3. I don't know where the third one is, so I'll have to look for that. Hopefully it's on top of that trim piece. But I'm actually going to vacuum out the car first. I got the vacuum right here. I'm going to go ahead and vacuum out the car because I did have to change out the ignition. And it was a lot of like drilling and, like metal shavings. And now there's a mixture of glass in here as well. So I'm going to get this all cleaned up and make the car look like it is, or look like it should anyway. With 56,000 miles on it, this car should be super clean. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it first. And then I will go ahead and start working on this window. Probably going to pop the hatch actually first, get the hatch up, and then vacuum all this out and vacuum the whole car out real quick and start working on the window. If you guys are just tuning in and you haven't actually seen my content before, this is one of the projects I'm currently working on. This is a 1991 twin turbo 300ZX that unfortunately the engine's blown up on. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I got it for a really good deal, and I'm going to be giving the twin turbo engine to my friend because he has a 91 NA 300ZX. So he's going to be taking this one and putting that in his. We did like a engine inspection where we actually stuck like a bore camera down inside the cylinders, and everything looked decent. The pistons are still there, so it's blown, but not necessarily like rod hanging out of block blown. So rather that be a blown turbo, or we actually have suspicions of it possibly having a blown head gasket, because we didn't mention that in the inspection video, but just looking at it, there might be a blown head gasket. For his sake, I hope not. I just hope it's a blown turbo. But I mean, if it is, then it's kind of like minor. I guess he's probably gonna do the timing belt and everything as well anyway. it's a lot more work to take the heads off, to change out um, the the head gaskets, but you know, at least it'll be reliable then, and he's gonna get 2 brand new turbos to put on it, so it'd be good for him. But anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and get to this. So just vacuumed out a little bit of the car. Probably I did a little bit, but I'm not gonna really focus back here just because I know taking out this window is gonna have more glass falling back in. So main thing, this is all cleaned up now. As you can see, looking pretty nice. So now that's taken care of, I'm gonna go ahead and swap to working on the window. As you can see, the hatch is open now. I'm gonna try to preserve the seal right here, because if possible, I'm gonna try to transfer it over to my new one, because this one isn't in the best condition on a new one. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just start heating it up, probably from this side, maybe. It's already coming out. This is just like barely pulling on it. At least that's the seal part. So I can take the seal off first and then work on getting the rest of the window. And yes, I know I'm not wearing gloves, but I am wearing glasses, so I don't have gloves to wear, unfortunately. If I did, I'd be wearing them. But I'm gonna go ahead and just lightly work on getting this off. So see that piece just separated, no problem. This is part of that main seal, so I'm try not to break it. Just gonna try to like pull it up a little bit and leave it hanging off to the side. There's gonna be glass on the inside of this, so don't rub your finger or your thumb inside there. But now that this is off, I'm gonna go ahead and just start heating up the adhesive right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start just shoveling at it with this guy. This is just like a floor putty scraper, I believe it's called. Might be wrong, but anything kind of the sort, you can just kind of fit inside there, and be careful because you're gonna have glass flying everywhere. So just be, you know, safe while doing it, as safe as possible, I guess. I might be able to rig up the vacuum to like pull vacuum into the car, maybe if I just leave like the nozzle right here, and as I'm doing it, it'll suck the glass in, maybe. Hard part is I need to heat it up with a heat gun first, and I don't have a splitter for the extension cord, so I guess heat it up first, quickly switch over, and then maybe start doing that. If not, I'm just going to heat it up and just start trying to pry at it and, you know, hope for the best. But I'll give you guys an update once I get this section out, or at least part of it, and then just see how it's going. A better example of what I'm doing, kind of holding it at an angle so you get like the best like coverage possible. And I'm only going to do this for a split second because I got to pull that seal away just so I'm not roasting the seal, but you get the idea. Just kind of hold it at an angle, like facing down, and you'll get that whole adhesive strip warmed up nice and hot. And it's still on the glass as well, so be careful because the glass might pop. So be wearing eye protection at least. If not, maybe a face shield would be better. But yep, definitely easier two hands. I'm only gonna do a side section, small section, just to show you guys. But it's pretty much what I'm doing. Just working my way up nice and slowly. Be careful not to keep your feet underneath it because glass is falling down the car. You don't want to get in your shoes. Okay, so please keep in mind while doing this, there is a little push clip in the center right there. I don't know if you can see, it's like right there. And I might have broke mine by accident, but just so you guys don't, you know, break yours. This little push clip, which is, yeah, definitely broken, slides into that hole right there, so it's like a window lineup. And I'll probably end up getting a new push clip maybe, or I'll just figure something out to make it sure it's aligned properly. But yeah, just careful not to break yours. I think there's another one towards the bottom right corner, so maybe if I get that one okay, I can still line it up the window properly. But you know, just figure I'd warn you guys just in case. So I got this full side disconnected now, worked my way up to the corner, and keep in mind with the heat gun, I accidentally melted a little bit right there, so be very careful with the heat gun just so you don't melt your trim. Same thing for up here, you do have to use a heat gun, but this is going to be the trickier area because it has the seal, which you don't want to melt, and you also have like your internal plastic trim piece for your window that you don't want to melt either. So that one you're going to have to probably be very quick, or what I'm thinking about doing is heating up the like the prior tool, the wall putty or floor putty scraper thing, heating that up itself, and then basically working my way up this way once I get this bottom piece done. So I'm gonna start working on this bottom piece, and again, you do have this plastic trim to keep in mind, so can't roast it, but just keep it towards the car. And then if you have to get it at an angle, that might be better too. Do small sections at a time, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to work my way across, and then you can like push it up and pry it a little bit, like push it a little bit forward and then push it up and pry it a little bit, and eventually you'll get that adhesive off. But yeah, unfortunate about the clip, but like I said, I know you could probably just order new clips, and there is a little bit of it left, so maybe I might still be able to do something and get that lined up. I have other clips too, like generic ones I might be able to use, but we'll worry about that when it comes to installing a new window. For now, I'm just going to continue trying to get this bottom seal off first. Got the window partially removed, so about 3/4 of the way done, or 2/3 I should say. Anyway, so this side off and this side off. What I ended up doing for down here was very lightly basically pointing the heat gun right on top of the metal right here and trying to blow it this way. That way this inner piece didn't get heated up, because it is plastic and it would warp very easily. So try to keep the heat off of the plastic and then just heat up down here. Took a while of just being careful and heating it up. And if you have like 1/2 of this size, for reference, this is a little too tall because you'll catch this, but if you have one about half the size with the scraping point on it, basically just get it right here, and eventually it just started going, so I just was able to push it and carry it all the way through to pretty much right here where I cut it off. And then I did that just because there's a lot of glass down here I wanted to clean up, and that piece just flapping, it kind of gets in the way, and might as well just take it off anyway. So I want to focus on this piece now, and I was very lightly prying it up from right here, this seal. There's like a little bit of a weather stripping that like sticks down, so you want to be careful. And I just very lightly get in there and started pulling it up, and it started separating from the window, which is okay because I gotta take it off the window anyway. But now that it's up like that and exposes the window down here, which I'm not sure if you guys can really see the windows right there inside, I'm gonna go ahead, or at least the ceiling is right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and heat this up itself, not this because there's too much stuff that could potentially melt, and then just kind of shovel at it a little bit and just try to get it like one time and just push it all the way through would be nice, but we'll see. I'm gonna get it some decently hot and then just try to push it up and see how that works. Well, unfortunately, my heat gun took a shit on me, so I'm trying to contemplate if I should continue or not. Like, I don't know what happened. It was brand new. Literally, this is the first time I'm using it. It was I got it from Ace Hardware. It was doing great until I guess it wasn't. So, oh man, I'm gonna try to maybe get this seal, because it's already kind of up a little bit. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna try to just get this seal up a little bit, and then see if I can just work my way up very carefully, getting it all the way through. If it has a lot of resistance without the heat, I'm probably just gonna stop for today. Order those clips, because I'm pretty sure this guy down here in the corner has another clip. Pretty sure it's broken too. So probably order 2 new clips. And unfortunately for me, it'll be a couple days. For you guys, it'll be instantly. But I'm gonna try to work on this first, and then I'll give you guys an update on if I'm gonna continue or not, and then see where we are from there. Okay, so here's an update for you guys. I got the wedge. Basically, yes, I am using a hammer, but I got the wedge through right here underneath this a little bit, and I was able to lightly just swing it around and then get it back up there. Now you are going to hit a lot of resistance, and honestly I don't even really know if the heat gun would be useful in this situation. I know I said heat up the metal piece, and that may or may not work. Honestly, I couldn't tell you for sure because my heat gun died on me anyway. What I ended up doing is holding the scraper pretty much at a little bit of an angle and just lightly tapping. Yes, with a hammer. You don't have to use a big hammer. Just lightly tap it. You're not going for massive swings or anything. Just tap, 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 tap. And, millimeter by millimeter, it'll start, getting further up. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm just going to, slow as I go, all the way up. And hopefully I can get it underneath here and take this whole piece off of. If it works, cool. If not, I guess I'll figure something else out. But I'm going to continue with this, and then I'll give you guys an update once I have something to show you. So the hammer trick has been working pretty decently. I have it almost up to the top of the corner, and basically you're just using small little taps as you go up, like I mentioned. You don't want to hit it very hard, but as you can see, getting a nice clean shave on there. Got down to bare metal a couple times, so you probably want to spray some primer on this when you're done, before you put your new window in or whatnot. Technically You don't necessarily have to. You could also use like nail polish or something. That might be the best course of action, just because you don't want your new adhesive to peel off if it sticks to the primer and whatnot. So if you only have like little spots like that, just, you know, paint match with the, you know, paint pen or maybe a nail polish or something, because this is going to get covered back up with sealant and, you know, the trim and everything. So don't sweat it if it looks like this. That's just how it's going to look. And you know, you might actually see something like this where it has like a little bit of rust, where it actually is just surface rust, but you wouldn't have known until you had to do something about it. So probably take a wire wheel to that, nail polish, or, you know, paint marker or something, and then apply the new sealant and whatnot and stick the new window in. I'm also, because I'm gonna order the new clips, I'm not gonna be replacing the window today, but I'm gonna get like a big suction cup and one that has like a handle on it, typically used for like pulling dents, and I'm gonna basically attach it to the window and pull it from right here, and then stick like a bar across this way so that it holds, you know, tension against like inwards, so that the window can press in and seat nicely with all the sealant. I don't have one of those suction cups in the moment. I'm probably gonna go buy one, but gotta wait a couple days for the clips to come in anyway. I mean, for you guys it's gonna be instantly, so it's all gonna be one video, but that's what I'm looking at right at the moment. But anyway, I repositioned the pry tool up at an angle like this, just so I can hit it more direct across. And basically I only went straight up like that for a little bit, and then I slowly had to, like, you know, steer it in which way I wanted it to go. And you just gotta be careful not to, you know, mess up your internal plastic right here if you're using the same method I am. Like I said, heat might work if you heat up the end of that, but honestly, heat works really well for like these two pieces, but it seems to work okay without the heat. I would recommend using heat for, you know, these two, just because it does make it a lot easier. I mean, you might be able to get by with this one without it, but this one for sure, the heat is really nice. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just hammer that in very lightly. Like I said, specifying lightly. You don't have to use a lot of force when, you know, tapping the end of this with a hammer. And you want to be careful when you're like right here, you don't hit your paint or anything like that as you're, you know, tapping, just because you don't want to scratch your paint, obviously. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this rest of the piece off. So I got the trim piece out, and you know, it went pretty smooth. I would like to, you know, make sure that I express this a little bit. When it comes to like getting this piece out from underneath the like T-top cover, or where it connects to the T-top, it is going to be pressed up in there pretty far, and you just want to take a whole, like, your time while trying to get that out. You don't want to just like pull on it, because this piece wants to come out like that, and this piece just wants to come out like that, but you're going to separate them and rip them if you just try to pull it out. So don't just pull it out. You can like pull this one, not pull it, but just like move it a little bit underneath this little flap right here and get the, you know, the seal over. That helps for getting like that pry tool inside here, and you just want to like lightly, you know, try to get the adhesive out from underneath it. And then I also came up from directly underneath, move the strip up, and try to like cut any adhesive that's underneath this, like this way, upwards. And then eventually you'll see both pieces start to move upwards, and that's how you know that usually you got it all. And then you can lightly together pull both pieces down, and that's how mine came out. Now, like I said, if you feel like you're pulling it down and it has any tension, push it back up a little bit, or hold it at that tension, and then, like, you know, try to get the little pry tool right there to cut any adhesive that's still left on it. And just to show you guys, this is how my piece came out. So still together. I did unfortunately melt that piece a little bit. Minor though, at least, you know, it's still all in one piece. I will have to go through and try to separate all the broken glass from inside the seal. But, you know, I'm just glad that the seal came out and looks like decent condition. Same thing with this one as well. But yeah, so that's out. And what I'm going to do with this is obviously vacuum. If you haven't done the project yet and you're watching this before, I would recommend probably laying down like some plastic or paper or something to catch all the glass, because like I did it right here, unfortunately I didn't have anything. There's glass mixed in with my gravel now, and I'll have to probably just vacuum up this whole area, and then I'm just gonna, you know, dump the gravel and, you know, glass somewhere else. If you are following this while I'm doing this, then, you know, sorry, I didn't think about it until, you know, just a minute ago. But hopefully you're on like a flat surface like concrete or something, you can just vacuum it up. If you're on gravel like this, you know, like I said, it's gonna be kind of harder to clean up. But I'm gonna vacuum all this out now since there's no more broken glass to mess with. Vacuum out the car and all the, you know, pieces and whatnot. And then acetone, I believe, works the best. And you're just gonna have to use some elbow grease to get all the old sealant off. You might be able to just I'd say roast it, but you gotta be careful about this plastic piece still, like heating it with the heat gun, and then maybe it's like peeling it off or getting it to a point where it's like super like tacky and then just scraping it off. I'm not sure. I'm gonna probably use the acetone first and see how that works. I have like a wire wheel if I need to use that too, but I don't really want to go down to bare metal, you know, for obvious reasons. But you don't have to get like 100% of it off. Like honestly, if you just wipe this down, you could just leave it as is and just stick the new window to it. So at least acetone would clean up the mating surface and make it look nice. And then you can go back with, you know, your nail polish or whatever, or paint pen, and fill in any parts you might have got to bare metal. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and buy the new clips. Sorry if my camera keeps drooping down. I'm gonna go ahead and buy the new clips and put those on the new window. Also gonna get the glass out of that one. I'm probably gonna do the glass right now because I have that here. Get the glass out of that seal. But order the new clips, and that little plunger thing on the back with like a stick through would probably work the best to hold tension against it while the new sealant is setting. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and mess around with that seal a little bit and see how much glass I can get out of it, and see if I can get the new glass into it. Also got to clean up the new used piece, get all the adhesive off that as well, just so it's nice and new again. Alright, so about 2 hours later of just messing with it, this piece came off, and everything attached to it, which was these, needed to be cleaned up. I separated them all just to make it easier, but as you can see, there's no glass in the channels. No glass in the channel. This guy is probably going to be the hardest piece. I noticed flathead screwdriver that has like a little tip. I don't know if you can really pick that up, or like a pick would probably be better. You just basically like stick it in there and like flick it, and stick it in there and flick it, and like maybe at an angle and flick it. That's what I was doing. This piece, I am going to have to reuse it. It still does have a little bit of shards left on it, so I'm going to try to clean it up as best as I can, just so there's no shards pressed up against the new window. But what I might end up doing is trimming it. And why I saved this is because this piece right here on the outside, it's like loops up over the window, and mine's missing on the new one. So this back piece is basically what you know is attached to the window, and then it presses in to this one right here, so it gets pressed in. And so this inner piece is actually laying on top of this piece right here. So if I can really just put it all back together real quick for you, you can see what I'm talking about. So that slides up inside there. So technically you don't need all this backing. You could just trim it like halfway, and then kind of like that, basically just half of the width, and then you only have to clean up the other half. But I'm gonna try to clean up the entire thing and see if I can save it, like the entire piece if possible. Pretty much all the yellow is what tucks like fully into the channel over here. So that's basically a cut line that you could use if you really wanted to, but I'm gonna try to avoid that. Maybe isopropyl alcohol 91%, and then just quickly try to like brush it off with like an abrasive sponge or something. Might do the trick. I know rubber's not really good to be used with isopropyl alcohol in like long durations because it can break it down, but these are all discontinued, so you gotta make do with what you got. But anyway, yeah, all three of these pieces, gotta clean them up, get them transferred to the new window after I take all the old adhesive off the old window, and then I get those two clips, and I'll be ready to put it back inside there. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the new window as well. Okay, so made these alignment dowels basically to replace the discontinued clips for the quad panel window on a 300ZX. This is the Z32 model, but basically what the purpose of them is if you're replacing the quad panel window, there's two little holes. I'll take this one out too. two little holes, one right there and one right there, that these clips clip into, and it basically aligns the window when you're replacing it, just to make sure it's, you know, square and where it needs to be. So basically, when I took the weather stripping off of the car, I didn't know about the clips, or, you know, actually I forgot about them and accidentally like hit them with the little wedge. And they're really hard to maintain and not break when you're taking the weather stripping off the car. I mean, it's probably not impossible, but I accidentally ended up breaking them, and I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one like that. So what I did is I actually made these 3D printed dowel alignment pins, and they're not clips, they're just alignment pins. And once you put the adhesive on it, there's really no need to have you know, clipped pins in there. It's just solely for the alignment purpose, and the adhesive should be able to keep the window on perfectly good. So yeah, this is the prototype of it. Alright, so to install these, they are the same diameter as like the little clips that originally came on the window itself. So if you're like me and you're using a used window and these clips are broken, then these should be able to snap right into the little molding. That's kind of glue, but it's kind of like a molding. I'll show you in a second where the original pins went, or the clips. So these just press in there. You can put a little dab of glue on the back and just stick it on there, and then make sure it's, you know, square and centered where it needs to be. And then whenever you put the new adhesive on, you should just be able to slide the top portion in first, and then put your pin in and your other pin in, and then it should just seat down. Now you may be wondering why there are two different sizes. This is actually, the smaller one is for right here, and that just slides right in there on top of that. And that's just because whenever you're putting the window in at an angle like that, there might not be as much clearance. I didn't really know how much clearance was necessary. And sorry if you can hear the fan in the background, that's my bike cooling down. But so just in case, because it's going to be at an angle, I gave you a smaller clip right here, which sits in right there. And then the larger one just goes right down here inside here. And this one's going to be a little more of a tight fit, but sits in there nicely. You could also, if you really wanted to, take like a step bit and clean out the hole a little bit, because I'm not sure about your guys's, but from factory it's not really like a perfectly circular hole. It's kind of like an oblong hole, but that fits in there nicely. This one fits in there nicely as well. So that's the alignment pins. And then I would recommend putting these on the window first, putting your adhesive down, and then sticking everything on top of it over. And then yeah, you should be good to go. Now to remove the pins, just slide them out, and I recommend lifting the hatch, because there's a seal that goes underneath right here, and opening your door when you're replacing this. That way it's, you know, nice and flush. And I saw one other dude, he wadded up some towels on top and closed the hatch down on top of the window to hold the seal in place while it was curing. Some will probably do that as well. And I got a couple small suction cups with like little rings on them. I'm gonna try to probably stick them to the inside of the window, and then use like a little bit of a rope and tie it to like the passenger headrest. Just loop it around there and pull suction on it inwards. That way it seals in nicely. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and set this up now and glue these in and see how it works. Alright, so these are the dowel pins set into the molding of the window, and as you can see, it takes a little bit of force to get it out. It fits in there really nicely. So if you still have like these little moldings, leave them alone, these little glue moldings, because these fit in there really nicely. It's just a really nice tight clip. This one unfortunately has half of it broken off, so this one just sits in there a little looser, but it does still allow you to line it up to where it would be originally. And then just clean off your adhesive. And if you have your strips, you're gonna want to reinstall these. If you have new ones, that'd be cool, but good luck finding them. Okay, so got the trim back on, got the alignment dowels in. These are glued in with this 3M fast curing glass urethane. So probably let this all cure up before installing the window. And then got the seal on there. Yes, I know it's not the prettiest, but I'm gonna go ahead and just clean it all up afterwards once I get it on the car. But you know, the seal is on there, and luckily the hatch, you know, covers all this when it's closed, so it's really just the window you're looking at. but I'm also gonna repaint all the trim anyway with the trim paint, make it all look nice again. But anyway, yeah, dowels are in, and all I gotta do is let this cure up, and then go ahead and line out the outline on the car, and then can install it. Alright, so we got ahead and spray painted the bare metal spots that I accidentally scraped when removing the window trim piece, the seal, from the broken one. And it's just, lightly sprayed on there. It doesn't need to be nice, doesn't need to be perfect or anything, because the window's going to sit over this and you won't even see it. So just the bare metal spots, went ahead and sprayed down a little bit and wait for this just to dry up. And then I'm going to go ahead and just start applying my adhesive and go ahead and put the new window in. Should be good. Alright, so window is in. Dowel alignment pins worked out great. Lined up the window perfectly. Slid on after I put the adhesive on. So I used a good amount of adhesive all the way around on both sides, the glass and the car. Lined up the alignment pin, slid the top in first, and then folded it down. Pin went in, press it down good. Folded up some paper, closed the hatch down on top of it to hold pressure against the seal on the side. And then I also have a bungee cord to the passenger headrest to the window with the suction cup. And that suction cup is going to be right there, pulling on that corner, just because I want this corner to make sure it seals up good. This one doesn't really have a lot of pull pressure, so it doesn't really need, plus the door is going to close on it, so I'm sure this one will do alright. But yeah, window's in. Now I just need to let it cure, and we should be good to go. Probably going to go around with the heat gun and warm it up a little bit, because it is about 6:30 and the sun's setting, and I want to make sure it stays a little warm. So it's going to use a little bit of heat and warm up the car. And optimal time to do this would probably be around noon when the sun's out, just so it sets up properly. But yeah, so far, window's in.